All right. Welcome into the Hoops Rehab Show, live on a Saturday night after Game 7. The Spurs are headed to the finals, Eric. How you doing?
It's time to party, or I'm sure you've seen all over the place, like it's 1999.
Oh, I like that.
It was the last time the Knicks were in the finals, and it was against the Spurs, like we talked about, I think a couple of shows back. And obviously, it was, I think, Tim Duncan's second season. This is Wemby's third season. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It's not normal for us to be here on a Saturday night, but obviously we had to get on after that thriller of a Game 7.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously we're going to get into Game 7, kind of live reaction from that. What went wrong for OKC? We're going to get into their future because I think there's some things that they might emulate the Golden State Warriors. Then we got to preview the NBA Finals, which I think is the best matchup for the NBA, and also the NBA. Adam Silver is just happy as hell because he's got Wemby, he's got a superstar, he's got San Antonio back, and then you got the Knicks, which is one of the biggest markets. And then we got our last, well, not our last Schools Out segment, but getting down to only 2 more teams left. So we definitely got to send OKC out in style. In style. All right, but if you guys are live in the chat, either on X or YouTube, please hit the comments. We'll kind of get to them throughout the show. But we're ready to roll, Eric.
Let's get it.
All right, so we're just going to start off right off the bat, Eric. Third team All-NBA. All-Star.
Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him.
7'1". Supermax player. Had no shot attempts in the second half. I'm talking about you, Chet. Now, sometimes stars can fade and do all that stuff, but if you are who you're supposed to be, and you already have this rivalry with the other opposing superstar, and you don't show up to the game, and you don't even ask for the ball. There was a period of time in that game where he got the ball in the corner and literally saw Wemby and was like, "Here, have it," like hot potato. Okay, here, just take it. So what were your thoughts on Game 7? I mean, obviously Chet was a huge issue, but what were your thoughts overall with the game?
Yeah, huge issue. I mean, he's gonna. I'm sure he's feeling it right now. He's gonna be hearing all about it for the next days and weeks. But it was, I think, appropriate for us to start, with that because he was. I mean, he's an important piece. He's obviously was the second pick a few years ago. Made the All-Star team again, like you said, third team NBA. Obviously, a real good player. And there are players that in different series have different kind of responsibilities and different outcomes. But that's for role players, in my opinion. If you are a solid number 2, or the number 2 pick, or maybe consider yourself kind of like, hey, I can have my own team kind of thing. I mean, you gotta play a lot better than they did tonight. Obviously, with the injuries OKC had, it was even that much more important. And so, I know we're gonna get into a lot more, but just kind of wanted to start off with that. It was a game that, to be honest, San Antonio controlled practically throughout. Yeah. Thunder went up by 4 in the third, and you kind of thought, all right, well, things are going to kind of take off for them. But that was the only really kind of hope they had all game. And Spurs, got to give them credit. They won Game 6 and 7, one at home where they dominated. Game 7, they pretty much dominated. And here we are. Wemby's officially here. Going to the NBA Finals. Just crazy.
Yeah. I thought OKC got super desperate in the second half when they went in with the lineup of Jalen Williams and Caruso as the starting lineup.
Yep.
I just thought they were reaching at that point. I get they were trying to probably insert some more offense. Obviously, Lou Dort had a miserable series because not only was he not really effective defensively, he was abysmal offensively.
Terrible offensively.
And so, I think he's a great player. He's a player that you have to have on your team.
Solid player, yeah.
But this is the first time I've seen him in a series since he's really been in OKC as a liability. he played. I mean, you look at his minutes. He played 16 minutes tonight. I think over the course of the series, I don't think he ever got above 30. I mean, I can look back on that, but
really was less than 20.
Very limited throughout the whole series, just because of number one, the youth and athletic ability of San Antonio's guards with Stephen Castle, Vassell, Champagny. All those guys are they're super athletic and they're moving all over the court. And Stephen Castle is a physical ass guard. And then to me, I was surprised Luke Dort couldn't give him any fits, and he really didn't. So I think OKC has some interesting things they're going to have to think about in the offseason, right? They're obviously going to, we were talking about earlier, they're going to go into some of these extensions that are going in place with Chet and Jalen Williams, right? So that's going to already take a lot of their money. Then you got free agents like Lou Dort, a couple other people that are going to pop off the books. So it's going to be a very, very interesting summer, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a big reason why it is very much a challenge to win back-to-back. I'm sitting here obviously very surprised that the Thunder are not going to be representing the West in the finals. I mean, pretty shocked actually. But that being said, I mean, especially in this NBA, any NBA, I know it's been always a league of kind of dynasties and things of that nature. But even like the dynasty of the Spurs, they never won back-to-back. They won 5 titles. It was just kind of spread out. Yeah, obviously, you have the Warriors, your Lakers, there's teams that have won back-to-back, but it is very tough. And I think part of that is because you got to stay healthy. That's like the one thing that you just cannot account for. You can have a great offseason. You can trade for McCain. At the trade deadline, you could have just the best record in the NBA. You could be kind of a superstar or kind of like a team that OKC is full of stars and role players. But if you don't have J-Dub and then AJ Mitchell, who had a tremendous series against the Lakers, it's just hard to get through a series against a really good team. And so I truly think if they were healthy, probably would win it. That's this year, though. I mean, as time goes on, Spurs are just going to get better and better. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what I have to say about OKC is it was just you can Spurs that with the players that are on the court tonight and in Game 6, Spurs look like the better team.
Yeah, to be honest, the Jalen Williams injury was so hard for them because I said it from the get-go.
You've been saying it all
first round, whenever it happened, I said I do not think OKC can win a championship without Jalen Williams, and they can't win a championship without Jalen Williams, right? So, but I do think that AJ Mitchell on top of that was huge, right? Because now you never had a really good second ball handler on the team. Caruso can do it in spurts, but he's not really a traditional point guard. And you can tell, even though SGA had a great game, how tired was SGA down the stretch, right? He's putting his hands on his knees, he's exhausted. He's looking for people that are open. What San Antonio does well, and they did this in the previous series too against Ant, is they double the hell out of their best player. And they send these athletic guards, and they're super quick. And you can tell that SGA was getting frustrated, getting a little tired. And then especially when OKC had no timeouts the last 4.5 minutes of the game, they couldn't even give him a break at all, right? So I think they just missed those ball handlers, right? That's Jalen Williams and that's AJ Mitchell. And it's hard to win in this NBA when you don't have those players, right? Look at even this series, De'Aaron Fox on San Antonio. When they did not have him, Stephen Castle was turning the ball over 20 times in the first 2 games, right? So it was more difficult for him because he's not used to having the ball in his hands as much as possible. And this is what kind of happened with OKC as well, down with all these injuries.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, the whole timeout situation. I was trying to figure out how that happened. I think I know they had a couple challenges. Yeah, so I think that's kind of, I feel like if you win a challenge, you should keep your timeout. I don't know. It's just kind of strange. But because you're just calling a timeout to challenge it. But,
it shouldn't be that way.
But anyways, but that's for another day. But yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, not that I didn't know like Alex Caruso was a really good player, but this series showed me that he is a really, really good player.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he is like a really good role player, right? And so it's just not ideal, in my opinion, to have him play 39 minutes where he goes 3 for 14, right? Again, not putting it on him because he's probably been one of the biggest differences. But if he turns to be more of like the guy you're depending on offensively,
Sure.
I just think as the series goes along, it's just not sustainable. He's going to come back down to the mean. And he did not have a really good game to be playing 39 minutes. As I said, 3 for 14. He missed a few layups where I'm like, oh man, if he was on my team, I'd be so pissed. And like, that's why I like, But anyways, there was just a couple, momentum stopping kind of a couple layups that he missed. But not again. It's not so much Alex Caruso. It's like there's a reason, why there's stars, and there's reason why there's role players. And then obviously, I mean, you can't. I mean, they're deep, and it's great that they are, but that depth is just really for insurance, not to really carry you in a game 7. And so, man, big props to the Spurs. I even coming into this series, even coming into game 6, game 7, I thought it was going to be the Thunder. And so, the series was interesting because it was obviously 7 games, kind of like games 3 to 6 were just not like great games in my opinion. Just all blowouts. Game 1 was obviously tremendous. Game 2 was really good, and game 7 was obviously good too. And so, but it was an interesting, pretty crazy 7-game series.
Yeah, I just think it was 2 really good teams, right? And
one had to lose, right?
The Spurs' time is now.
I know.
There's no waiting. Like, you see it in Wemby's face, man. You see the emotion. He's crying after winning the game.
Yeah.
Right. Like this means so much to him. Like, I just think when you have a player like, okay, look at SGA. Like, OKC is SGA, right? They act like him. They exude his confidence, right? Yeah. But he's not that vocal, right? Like, SGA you don't really see much a change in demeanor from SGA on the court. And, he talks about that. I'm consistent. I'm reliable. But like, I wanted to see a little bit, like, get into your teammates a little bit, right? And that's not him. I don't think that is him.
Yeah,
but that's
Wemby. Kill.
That's Wemby, and that you saw him do that in the game, game 5 when they were down in against the Thunder, down big, got in the third quarter, and he got in the huddle, and he's literally grabbing his guys, like yelling at everybody that we got to get it back in this game. They cut it down to 12. Obviously, can finish it off. He looked tired. What did he do the next 2 games? He dominated game 6, dominated game 7, and they're into the NBA Finals. And I just think like that, like, it bodes so well for their future because they believe in him so much, and he lives basketball. Like, you don't see many players like that. Like, he lives and breathes it. Like, he's so upset and he's so happy and he's emotional, and you love it. And so, like, to me, man, they are going to be so hard to beat in the finals. Like, you can't say they're young. You can't say anything like that. I think it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, no, he was huge. And like, Hartenstein, he did, like, I think OKC, they blew game 1 really. And that could have been the series.
Yeah, that's true.
Decision making. And I think, obviously Wemby, if you don't like his line is like 22, 7 and 2, I think tonight. But he just has such an effect on the game.
Yeah, you can't look at all that, right?
One block. So maybe statistically, not like, oh my God, right? But
you should add Chet's stat to Wemby's overall, because what Chet showed tonight is the effect because of Wemby, right?
Yeah,
so not all that's going to show up on the stats, but we saw it. You watch the game, you see the effect of him on the court. So
yeah, if you think about it, so Chet's probably like a 20-point game, like scorer normally.
Easily.
And so he took away probably not in this series, but he is normally, and he probably took 17, 18 points away from him that he might get normally. And so it was huge. And so yes, there was some exhaustion, you can tell, kind of game 5, 6, or mainly game 5, but hey, sometimes you just gotta like, I know we kind of react to every game differently, and it's been like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But hey, like they They're pretty obviously it starts with Wemby, but as they showed tonight, I mean, they got a lot of guys that can do some things. I think Fox looked a little healthier tonight too.
He looked much better. I was going to mention him. I thought what De'Aaron Fox showed tonight was that his ankle was feeling better.
Yeah.
And that bodes well going into the finals because they're going to need him to be like that second person almost. I know they're going to get, games out of Champagny, but they're not going to get that consistently, right? They need to have that second option to be consistent. I think that's De'Aaron Fox. And then, third in line would be Stephen Castle, right? Stephon Castle. So, I do love what I see out of this team, right? Like Dylan Harper had a huge game. Like those minutes were so important off the bench. And I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to stop this young team that has they don't really have any worry about losing. You get my drift, right? Like I feel right now
nothing to lose in a weird way, right?
Yeah, like the Knicks have all the pressure for sure because it's like first time in there since '99. Yeah. You got to win it for New York. I mean, you got the crowd, you got the celebs, and San Antonio's like, we're playing with house money right now. Like we're going to win this, and we're confident, but we don't care if we lose. So that means they're going to go all out. So it's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I take it like Spurs are probably a little bit of I haven't looked honestly, but probably a little bit of a favorite to win the series, I would imagine. I know they're at least favored to win game one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, on the flip side, you feel it with the Knicks, right? Like it's just kind of like their opportunity, and it's going to be tough for both teams. But Spurs are like technically could play kind of loose because they have the same advantages as like the Thunder have, like going forward, or at least the last few years into the Spurs next few seasons, where they got some players on some team friendly deals, right? Because they're young, they'll be able to sign a couple, veterans and things like that, kind of like a la like when the Thunder signed Hartenstein and Caruso, right? Yeah. They had the capital to be able to do that, just because of the contracts that their young players are in, and so I mean, so they're here to stay, and if they win these finals, man, talk about like
watch out for the NBA.
But we don't see it much like this, this early. So
regardless, we're gonna have this matchup in the Western Conference playoffs, whether it's in the conference finals and the semis, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
Over the next 5 years, I don't doubt that they meet up at least 2-3 more times in the next 5 years, right? Like, and barring any injury, like these teams are going to meet up a lot of times over the next couple of years, and it's going to be interesting to see who prevails each time. But now we know that San Antonio's got over OKC. You got Wemby 1, SGA 0, right? So it's going to be fun to watch over the next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like the rest of the West hopes one time maybe that one of the teams is a 4 seed and the other one a 1 seed, or maybe like a 2 and a 3, and they play each other in the second round, that kind of thing. But so this was the 12th time I think these two teams played this season, and so I think the Spurs won 9, or I guess 8 of them, 8 out of the 12.
Yeah, 8 and 4.
8 and 4. So they obviously showed this year, whether whoever was in or out of there, that they're weird to say, probably the better team, I guess. But it's really unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, Eric, we got to talk about it. OKC's future.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting offseason because obviously we have the whole Giannis thing in the background. And I have always called OKC the new Golden State. And what did Golden State do, Eric? They won a championship. Then they lost one. Right? And then they decided to go get Kevin Durant and win 2 more.
Yeah.
Right? So my question to you is, will Sam Presti break his kind of what he's been doing over these last, I don't know how many years he's been there, 7, 8 years, or whatever this looks like, of building these draft picks, building these young talent? Will he sacrifice some of that young talent in order to bring in a mega superstar and pair SGA with Giannis?
Before I answer that, I know during the season we talked about this. We talked about.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. As far as the teams that have a lot to offer, the Thunder are probably on the top of the list. And we did talk about how it's hard to say where he's going to go because we got to see how the season shapes out and who, obviously, there could be only one champion. And the way the kind of Thunder went out and the thought that, man, we got to figure out somehow, some way to beat the San Antonio team. If it was kind of a little bit of a fluky season and they had a couple injuries and they just lost to someone that maybe they can probably handle next year, I think it'd be different. I can see the Thunder busting a Warriors. And the reason I see it happening is I know Kevin Durant has caught a lot of slack for it, but at least Giannis has already won a championship, right? Sure. And I think that's different. That is such a big factor. Yeah. If he hadn't won one, I don't think he does it because he saw what everybody thinks about Kevin Durant now. So again, to answer your question, I do feel that the Thunder could be wrong, but I think they're going to flirt with the idea for sure. How about you?
I just think they have so many assets that they can get if they want to do it. It's in their field. I guess
balls on their court. Yeah, they could.
Two things, right? Giannis has got to want to go there, and we don't already know that. The second thing is that they just have all the assets to make a trade that I don't think they're ever nobody's gonna give a better package than what they can give, right? For the most part. There's maybe a couple players that they would like, or can they get a Jaylen Brown or something like that, right? So let's if Boston was willing to do that, that's a different higher level of a player. But as far as assets, you could probably at least get 4 first-round picks without a problem. OKC is not going to really be bothered by that. So I can see it happening. And I think you can roll it back next year and say, all right, if we were healthy, we probably could win this series.
Yep. Very true.
But you got to see what happens in the finals. Because if Wemby goes out there and wins the chip as well, then I think 2 things are going to fall in line. You're going to have the Knicks team that say, man, we were right there. Is there something that can get us over the top? Is there a way we can make a play for Giannis? Because that's where Giannis has always wanted to go, is to go to New York, right?
Yep.
Or you go, does OKC go, damn, San Antonio just won a championship. They beat us pretty handily in Game 7. Do we need to make that move in order to get over the top? So I think it's going to be totally different. And you got to add the anti-taking rules that are in effect. So what San Antonio did this year with the last 3 draft picks have all been in the top 5. That is going to be no longer an option for teams, right? So now I think we're going to start to get more of those superstars getting traded, different type of trades happening because of not being able to develop like they would normally do with tanking rules.
Yeah, the NBA, it's always just been there's been times where the free agency part of the business is big. The trades was big. Obviously, as of late, with all the aprons and first and second apron, it's been more drafting and developing, and it'll still be like that. But with these kind of new rules that are coming into play, which is very interesting. I know we never got into them, but it shows that they're really trying to anti-tank and trying to not have teams be bad for 5-6 years on purpose. And there's still going to be some bad teams that are probably going to get the short end of the stick because there's always bad teams. But yeah, I think a couple things. I think OKC, they just saw Chet, right? They may think is J-Dub, is he these injury concerns going to just kind of continue. And so there's probably all these thoughts, and we have all this young talent. We got 2 first-round picks next year or this year. And it's, I think, and the thing is too, going back to the trade itself. So, Giannis technically, he has a say, but technically if Milwaukee is like, hey, we're getting the best we can out of the Thunder, out of anybody that's asked, like they could just go for it and trade him, right?
Sure.
Now,
I mean,
of
he's not
course,
gonna be mad to go to the Thunder.
yeah,
I can't see that as if you're playing in Milwaukee. I mean, like
yeah.
we're talking about cities or anything like that, but you would also be going to play with one of the best teams. Now, I will say
he's only there for 1 year though, so then that's a big.
yeah, that's the number one thing. Right? 1 year, and then also to me, it's like chemistry. Like this team is a totally different version than what Giannis would be like on it, right? Like the chemistry and everything like that. I don't know how that fits either.
Yeah, it could be a little bit overreaction. It could be, hey, we're gonna just stick with what we do.
Yeah.
We didn't win this year because of the injuries, and we're gonna come right back and be a top 2 seed next year and go for it again. So they could very much do that, and I wouldn't obviously criticize that.
Yeah. So interesting summer coming up, and I would imagine we'll start to hear some rumors quite quickly because the draft comes up fast after the NBA finals. So, I think there might be some trades in the finals. You never know.
Could be.
All right. So we'll get into a little early preview. We're obviously going to have another show on Monday, kind of to preview everything with a special guest coming on too. So that'll be kind of cool. But Eric, Knicks have been waiting. And I think that might be an issue, right? They've been waiting for quite some time. The game doesn't start until Wednesday. It's going to be in San Antonio. So I look for the Knicks to be a little bit rusty, right? The last time they waited, they were down by 22 against Cleveland. They obviously came back in that game. But I could see game 1 going a little tough for the Knicks. And as best set up usually could be for San Antonio off a 7-game series to be able to get this many days of rest in between, and you got a home game. So what do you think overall of the series? And we'll kind of talk about winners of it, but what do you think's going on?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun series. I'm excited for it. Obviously, like you already straight, like I right away started thinking about Mitchell Robinson. And I mean, him being obviously such a potential key component to somebody like Wemby, right? And I know he broke his finger or hand or whatever.
It's like his pinky finger, but I think it's more closer to the wrist from what I've been reading. So he's probably going to wear like a pretty significant like soft cast on that hand. I mean, it wouldn't help his free throws anyways. I mean, I don't think it's going to bother that. But he did have surgery already, so it's still you're gonna have swelling, you're gonna have inflammation, you're gonna have pain. Anytime he tries to block the shot, anytime he tries to like just use his hands against Wemby, grab rebounds, everything's gonna be a little different. So it will be impactful for them because I don't know how much Cat is a bigger guy.
But
I just don't know if he has the quickness to keep up with Wemby. Right? Like, I don't think he's going to have the lateral quickness to kind of keep up with Wemby. But then, this was the NBA Cup finals rematch now.
Yeah, it's giving some clout finally to the NBA Cup, right?
Right? So they did beat Wemby and those young Spurs in the NBA Cup. So, and that game was actually a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. That was a great game. So I think we're going to see a lot of offense and some high level defense as well.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know how long it's going to go, obviously, but I do see some like competitive games. I kind of going back to 99. It was that series was very much. The Knicks were a big underdog, being like the 8th seed. So I see it being a little closer in that aspect. It's like one of those things you got to see game 1 and see how kind of the flow of the game and things like that. Yes, the rest versus rust is always an issue. But also San Antonio just went through this hell of a 7-game series. So at the same time, is game 1 kind of the one to steal? The finals is a lot more spread out than your conference finals are. So I think people will get their rest. People, we'll get the best of these teams, and that's kind of all we can ask for. But yeah, like it's Cat's more perimeter based, not as quick on his feet. Mitchell Robinson, I mean, with his skill set, obviously he's not going to be, a productive offensive player, but hopefully he can just do enough to just make it a little bit difficult for Wemby. Obviously, just some young guys on both sides, some guys that play big minutes on both sides. It's gonna be a good one. I mean, I kind of, to be honest, have to give the early edge. Probably an easy pick would be to San Antonio. But Knicks are, I don't know. There's something about them right now that it's like, are they gonna just kind of win that one championship? Just get that one, first time since the early 70s. I don't know. I mean, do you have I know you don't have a dog in the fight, but is there a team you'd like to see win or a team you think will win?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is underestimating the Knicks, right? How well they've been playing. To be honest, they should be the favorite in this series, right? We can't base this off on records and things like that. They are the hottest team in the playoffs. They have the number 1 offensive rating, number 1 defensive rating in the playoffs, right? They've won the last 11 games by about 24 points per game. It's not like they've just been scraping by and getting lucky. They've been dominating completely. So I think we're going to get the best version of the Knicks. And when you look at their superstar player, it's going to come down to, does Brunson have a much better series than Wemby? And I think that would be the key, right? So I like to see the way OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges have been playing on defense. I think is going to be a very interesting matchup, because I think at times you're going to put OG on Wemby and create some physicality. And he'll be able to stay with them. Obviously, the height is you're never going to find that height there. But I think at spurts, he's going to be able to give him a little bit of fits. And then with their guards, you got Josh Hart and those three guards on the wing with OG, Bridges, and Hart guarding Castle, Vassell. I think they're going to do a great job against those players and De'Aaron Fox. So, man. Early on, who am I going to pick? With that being said, Eric, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going out. I got a couple more days to kind of before we kind of
let it marinate a little bit. Exactly.
Because
let's let it marinate a little bit.
Yeah, I got to just let things go. I don't want to make any bold predictions right now, not just yet. But I do think New York deserves a little bit more respect.
Yeah, I mean, I think also too, sometimes injuries and things sneak up, and you're like, oh shoot, that guy's out all of a sudden. So I think we have to probably let that kind of come out in terms of who we expect out there. And so I think the Knicks. I mean, you said it well there. They have some guys that can definitely make it tough on some of these Spurs players. There's not just one guy that's going to be on Wemby on any team, and definitely not the Knicks. They'll throw some different bodies at him. I just kind of look. So Spurs, according to Vegas odds, Spurs are a favorite. To win the series. They're a minus 210. Knicks are at a plus 170. So now I don't think that's considered a huge favorite. For example, it's Knicks. So the Knicks have been favored in all their series. They were minus 300 against Philly and Cleveland. And so, pretty close. And at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. Obviously, I think OKC was favored against the, the Spurs. And so that's why they play the game, but definitely looking forward to it. And Wednesday, here we come.
Yep. Cam Miller put cookies.
Ooh, yeah.
Or is those cookies or basketballs? Yeah, I think those are cookies.
It looks like they were, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. But now, Eric, we got to get to our last school segment of the conference finals.
Yep.
We got to send the OKC Thunder on summer vacay. Cue that music, Eric. For your all that are listening to the pod and not watching us, we are bringing out the beach towels.
Got my towel.
Got our towels, and I got my goggles.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Eric got his snorkeling gear.
I think it's appropriate in terms of where we're sending them,
Yep. Well, with this 7-game series, you got to give the OKC Thunder some credit. They did play with some injuries, and we are going to send them to the regular place that most players go to, and that's Cancun, Eric. They deserve a nice little vacation. They won a championship last year. Obviously, you can win anything this year. They will be flopping all the way to Cancun, right, with some of the fish that are out there. And, maybe SGA will be flopping in the ocean a little bit. But yeah, they're going to Cancun, Eric.
Yeah, I think it is appropriate. We're respectful in terms of, obviously they're the defending champs. They made it all the way to Game 7 in the conference finals. I think some injuries did them in, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know if I expect a ton of moves in the offseason, and we talked a little bit about it, but obviously they had another tremendous season, finishing with the first seed in the West. What was their record? 64-18. They got off to that really hot start where we thought maybe they were going to flirt with having the best, record ever. And so lost some games. I think they had some injuries there, and but still had a great playoffs. They got some decisions to make. They got some team options on Lou Dort, who we talked a lot about. It looks like he might, be out, and then they have a team option on Hartenstein. And so obviously one big thing, or it's a couple of big things, is the contracts of Chet and J-Dub. They're going to start to kick in next year. So the big deals that they recently got. So yeah, that comes with obviously trying to probably having to trim some fat. They do have the 12th and the 17th pick in the first round. Do they try to trade those for a certain someone? Or do they stand pat and do what they do the last 4 or 5 seasons and kind of just, try again next year? So it'll be definitely an interesting offseason in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that can go on, right? They can just run it back with everybody.
Yep.
They're going to have more draft picks coming in regardless, or they can just go out there and make a trade and make things work a little bit more financially. Or they just go for the superstar like Giannis, right? So there's lots of things that are going to go on. I would be interested to see what they do next year, right? Because this team was touted as the next dynasty, unstoppable. Yes, they're going to win the championship, the favorites. And now they lost. And not only did you lose, you didn't lose in the finals, you lost to the San Antonio Spurs that are as young as you or younger, with probably the face of the league now, right? Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm going to go and say it, Eric. Wemby is the face of the league.
Is he winning the MVP next season?
Fuck. Eric, you don't even have to ask me that.
Did he get the conference MVP, Western Conference?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did get it.
He did. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it would be interesting to see what the response is next year. Is this a team that was just one championship? Are they Milwaukee? Right? Yeah. I'm not saying they're going to start folding, not make the playoffs and all that stuff, but are they a team that won one time and probably not going to win again? I mean, I don't think that's the case. But we'll have to see what they're made out of.
Yeah, it goes to show, Boston, when they won it a couple of years ago, it's they're going to probably go back to back.
Sure. Yeah.
Same with the Thunder, same with a lot of teams as of late. And so it just goes to show, you obviously you make plans with the thoughts of beating the likes of Spurs and Thunder, but then you also never know what could happen in a series. Not that you'd want injuries, but it seems like it's been happening every year. The Thunder were a benefactor of injuries, right, last year with Indiana towards the end there. And also Denver was pretty beat up when they played a 7-game series with them, with Aaron Gordon and whatnot. So I think they kind of got the bug this time around. And so, yeah, man, we'll see. And obviously, like you said, they can run it back and probably be right there, but no more back-to-back, at least for now.
For sure. All right, so that wraps up our schools out segment, and OKC Thunder are on summer vacay. So we will be back on likely doing a Monday episode that maybe comes out Monday or Tuesday with a special guest to talk about the NBA Finals.
Sure.
But before then, Eric, got anything else before you get out of here?
That's it, everyone. Just have a lovely Saturday night.
All right, guys. For the Hoops Rehab team, we are out. Happy Saturday. Peace out, guys.
Bye, guys.